Right, despite an ongoing war in Europe and inflation like we haven't seen in 40 years here at home, the Biden administration continues its laser-like focus. Actually, it's not a focus, it's an obsession with appeasing the transgender lobby. I've never seen anything like it. They've launched an all-out attack on the common sense parental rights and education bill recently passed in Florida.
And then one about this new law in Florida. At what age does the White House think that students should be taught about sexual orientation and gender identity?
Well, I would say, first of all, Peter, we have spoken to the Don't Say Gay bill in the past, I believe is what you're referring to, and made clear that as we look at this law, what we think it's a reflection of is politicians in Florida propagating misinformed, hateful policies that do absolutely nothing to address the real issues.
The real issues. The real issues are parents do not want radical leftists indoctrinating their children in kindergarten. We're talking about kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and third grade. Did you notice she could not answer the question? At what age? At what age is it inappropriate? At what age should children be free from the left's indoctrination? The reason she couldn't answer it is because the left wants to get children at the earliest ages. That's why the Biden administration is pushing for early childhood education. You know, we've talked about this on this program many times. George Barna in his research has put compelling evidence forward that a worldview is formulated between 15 months of age and 13 years. They want to get to the minds of children as early as possible. Joining me now to discuss this is Meg Kilgannon, Senior Fellow for Education Studies here at the Family Research Council. Meg, welcome back to the program.
Hi, Tony. Thanks for having me back.
Well, absolutely. Always love to have you on the program. Polling shows that most parents, even if they're Democrats, support the actual language in the parental rights and education bill out of Florida. In fact, I could not find a single category of voters, of citizens that did not support the bill.
That's absolutely true, because parents, by and large, understand that there is an innocence of childhood that is sacrosanct, and it is something that needs to be protected, and parents want to protect that innocence. And so too often parents are willing to sort of to outsource sex education because of their natural inclination to not want to broach these topics with children. We'll let the experts handle it. Well, the expert handling this topic is you, the parent, because God gave these children to you. And you know how they got here, and you know how to discuss this with them. It's not something that you should be outsourcing, and it's nothing we should be ashamed of discussing with our children. God's plan for human sexuality is beautiful. And it's only when people who don't understand that plan try to educate children about it, that's when you have all these problems. That's when Jen Psaki has to read from her notes, because she is telling a lie. She is not telling the truth. She is not, that their policies are not in accordance with God's plan for human sexuality. And so, of course, she's going to have to check her notes and read from the script, because what are they saying today? What is the latest claim?
You know, it's a really important point that you made, that parents need to be having these conversations with their children. You know, of course, I'm constantly talking about how we need parents to talk to their children about God, about who he is, what he's done for us, and what he expects from us. But we also need to talk about the practical things. And that is a part of educating our children, because look, I'm telling you, we've discovered that Disney is all too eager to talk to your kids about sex, but you know, their version's a little goofy. It's going to come out, everything's going to be all twisted and upside down. There's a fixation of this administration on the transgenderism, and in particular, children. And I go back to what I just said a few moments ago. I think it is because they know that these are the formative years, and they want to shape the minds of these children, because then, just as the scripture says, train up a child when they're young in the way that they should go, and when they're old, they won't depart from it. So what they're trying to do is get them on the wrong track early.
That's right. And we all need to be aware, even though this can seem somewhat nerdy and out of touch, we need to be aware that this need to talk to children about sexual matters is because these people have bought into a philosophy called queer theory. And that means that is a tool for revolutionizing society. It's a part of cultural Marxism. So because Americans don't respond to a socialist message for economic reasons, although perhaps we will start in this economy, traditionally we've had a strong economy in the United States, and those arguments haven't resonated with Americans. So they decided to use cultural Marxism to foment revolution through cultural means by having an oppressor versus oppressed class structure argument. And that's why we have critical race theory, queer theory, all these critical examinations and philosophies that are taught in education schools now are the end result of that. The reason that this is such a push is because they want to turn our children into activists. They want a revolution. And that sounds kind of crazy. It's crazy and nerdy all at the same time, but it is absolutely true. And the easiest place to see it is in this complete obsession with talking to children about sexual matters, excluding parents deliberately, and being outraged at the thought that they would be prevented from having access to children to talk about these things and have to check with parents first.
Yeah, I've been criticized. I've been criticized for saying this, but I can't see it any other way. I mean, this is the ultimate rebellion against God. We've denied him as the creator. We've kicked him out of our schools. No longer prayer, no longer Bible reading. I mean, I can remember my third grade teacher having the Bible on the desk and reading it no more. But this is the ultimate in rebellion, saying that not only did you not make me, but I will define who I am myself, my own gender. This is a dangerous place for a culture to be. Meg Kilgannon, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Tony.